So, dark patterns are when applications use your stupid soft human brain to trick you into giving them money or doing something against your interest, basically. This goes from um, some of the big ones being like when you sign up for a subscription, then it's really, really hard to unsubscribe. Or there's a confirmation button that uh, looks as though it's just supposed to continue, or points at which purchase is misrepresented, right? And loot boxes are another big one, and that's related to what I want to talk about with associative predictive engines today. They primarily exploit the way our brain gives you a dopamine hit, right? When you have a win in gambling, this has been covered extensively. If you need to look it up, there's plenty of videos on it. So with these APs, what they tend to do when you're working with them is they really activate this same reward mechanism. When you click on, your submitting your query, right? You are essentially pulling the lever, right? And then that'll run. A lot of times that's going to come back with either malformed statements that'll come back with really poorly built software. The majority of the time, it's not going to solve your issue on that first shot, right? This is a running discussion in every AI community. You're gonna have to keep hitting that button. Now, when that application finally does come through how you're looking for it to work, you get that dopamine hit, that same gambling dopamine hit. And that's where the danger comes in, right? Because when that happens, you're talking about an activation of a really exploitative part of the human brain by nature of how these probabilistic applications run. And that's the scary part, right? That's where we get into real dangerous territory, because now you've essentially built loot boxes for professionals, and we're all getting caught up in it, right? It is so exciting when you're early on in utilization of APE tools, and you get that feeling of, wow, this is so fast, right? And what I've realized over time is, wow, this is so fast, turns into, wow, this is so easy. But I've just spent an hour and a half solving something that if I had sat down, looked at it, gone through the debugging process myself, I could have had done in 15 minutes. This is constant. When it comes up with a solution, if I just put time into it, that would have been easy to accomplish. And that would have been fast, really fast. And a lot of times when it can't come up with a solution, I can still get that done in half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. The only exception is maybe import reference translations when I'm splitting apart a file. So I'm starting to question, no, I've come a long way down the road of questioning and really come to the conclusion that a lot of us are getting tricked into feeling like these applications are fast, efficient, like they save us. What's the cognitive load, right? When we're really offloading our cognitive load into figuring out how to best like optimize our gambling addiction. And it's like it's an okay gambling addiction because now we're producing something professional. But it's taken our money. And admittedly, a lot of the time it's not taking our money, it's taking the money of the company we work for. But it sure is fucking taking money. So I gotta start asking, if you really evaluate it, are you saving time? There's that Meter study, which, they, in their own conclusions, they are a pro AI company, so they or they're a pro AI organization, so they really couch their findings in, it's conditional on this and blah 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 blah. But that was big, and we all managed to sweep that under the rug because we're like, this just only applies to very specific situations. But when you look at it, it's like that's a pretty common situation in software development. You got a bunch of guys who have worked with the software for a long time, and now they implement this quote unquote tool, and they slow down like a lot. They slow down a lot. And the majority of teams I've worked on, the majority of people I've worked with fit into that category, of folks who have been working with this code base for a long time, or a code base that was inherited with a few different sort of tutorials for onboarding and things that were set up over a long period of time. So when they say, oh, this is a confined situation, I'm like, is it though? And really, that's where software development comes in. Like these greenfield projects where a lot of these applications are demoed and tested. The whole idea of building something from the ground up, ultimately, that's code monkey work. That's fucking easy. And if that's what we're saying is where this is showing its best performance, and it is. It's great at that initial setup and that initial build, and that really good feeling of fuck. Test pass. This is green. It looks good. And you know who that's super convincing for is C-suite. Extremely convincing for the people who sign our checks. But it's not good at all that stuff where real software development comes in. That interpretation of existing code, that difficult manipulation of large code bases that have a whole bunch of interactions that have been outlined to you or that you're familiar with. That's coding. That's where development comes in. That's where your talents as a software engineer really make a difference. So, yeah, we need to think about that, and management needs to think about that, because that's why a lot of these projects are coming back failing. And I don't know that there's a way to solve this problem. We've just tried stacking LLMs in different ways to make different APEs, and there's really just starting to be a part of me that, like, yeah, I made this conclusion a long time ago, but I'm having a lot of trouble even playing devil's advocate at this point. So it just sort of comes down to even if we try to find reasons to support it, it just all feels like talking points now, promises that can't be kept, promises that weren't kept to begin with. It's feeling very Elon Musk and autopilot. So, I don't know, man. When are y'all gonna throw in the towel? Because it just seems like all we're looking at is benchmarks and demoware from y'all. And that's not software development. That's not code.